What's good, everybody? It's your boy Wayne the Breezy, and it feels so good to be back to talk about the San Francisco 49ers and the keys to victory. Victory, victory. I got to make my own kind of like sound effects. Listen, this show is brought to you by 49ers Web Zone. Guys, you can go in and read the article in its entirely depth breakdown, www.49erswebzone.com. All right. And you guys can read the article. Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there that's going to be able to watch this. I hope you guys enjoy the day where we celebrate and honor the people that fought, that fight and served for this country. We truly appreciate you guys and what you do and your service to the country so that we can go and have our freedom and carry on about our daily business throughout our lives. So I just wanted to send a happy Veterans Day shout out to every veteran out there that has fought and served for our country so that we can be and continue to live freely. All right, let's get down to these keys to victory. San Francisco 49ers head out to Jacksonville to take on the red hot, and I mean they're red hot, Jacksonville Jaguars. The only thing that may cool them off is that they had a bye week, just like the San Francisco 49ers. So hopefully they're a little rusty coming out of their bye, and the San Francisco 49ers aren't rusty coming out of their bye, right? Like that's what we're hoping for out of this bye week. Now, the 49ers definitely made some new additions to the team, okay? They got some new key pieces. They made a trade for defensive end Chase Young. I think he's going to be a problem, in a good way for the San Francisco 49ers, right? He's going to be a problem and help stopping these defenses. So, look, I'm glad that he's here. The Niners are going to get some reinforcements back when it comes to having Trent Williams. Hopefully he's back in full tech. He did practice this week. And then they get Deebo Samuel back, who's practiced all week long as well. So I'm super excited about that. The Niners got their reinforcements, which will help and enable Brock Purdy to get back to the way he's been playing mentally, physically, less mistakes, all that type of stuff. So let's go ahead and get down the keys to victory. Let's go ahead and get down to number one. The 49ers have to run the ball. I don't mean establish the run and then like get rid of it, take it away. I mean run the ball. 49ers, and I say this each and every week, have a plethora of running backs. And you know what? I don't even care if Kyle Shanahan uses them all. At this point, it needs to be CMC, CMC, CMC. CMC to this run game is critical to Kyle Shanahan's offense and letting everything else work in its entirety, right? And so we want to see the passes. We want to see Brock Purdy cook. We want to see all those things. The funny thing is we won't see those things without a CMC. The CMC has to get back to angry runs, explosive runs. The 49ers are still a top running team in the NFL. As a matter of fact, right, they are ranked fifth in rushing yards per game at 133.5 yards per game. Okay, now on the opposite end, the Jacksonville Jaguars are third ranked stopping the run. They're only allowing 79.3 yards per game. I will say this, and a lot of people may not know this, but they haven't faced a CMC yet. So the Niners need to take advantage of this. And it doesn't matter if they put 8 in the box. They could put all 11 in the box for all I care. The 49ers should be able to find a way to run their running backs, whether it's stretched to the outside zone, whether you're inside zoning and power gapping up the middle. The Niners got to figure it out, and they got to stick with it. I think not sticking with it is the reason why the 49ers do fall behind, even though they're from behind. I feel like the 49ers is the only team that can be trailing and still run the ball. It's when they just go one-dimensional, and when they go one-dimensional, defenses kind of tee off. Don't go one-dimensional. Find a way to run the ball. I promise it will allow the Niners to pass so that way they're not one-dimensional. I want to see Brock Purdy. I want to see Brandon Ayuk. I want to see George Kittle. I want to see Deebo Samuel. I want to see any pass catcher, any weapon that Brock Purdy can get the ball to. I want to see it in the air for sure. But let's run the ball, right? Christian McCaffrey has an opportunity to break several records this week, all right, to where he'll take the record for having the most consecutive games with a touchdown. That's probably going to happen. There are other records he can break. But at the end of the day, the 49ers need to win. And the only way they're going to win is if they run the ball. And like I said, don't establish the run, maintain the run, sustain the run. Number two, they have to stop the run, right? Okay, so on the opposite side, defensive side, the 49ers got to stop the run. It seems like lately, they haven't been able to stop the run. Now, the last 3 games, they've given up rushes. They've given up rushing yards for over. What did I have in my notes? They gave up. Oh gosh. Well, all right. So they've given up plenty of rushing yards to the opposing teams, right? So you go back to the Cleveland game and you get Jerome Ford out there. He looked like he was rushing all over the place. And then you get the next week with Alexander Madison and their wide receivers. They were running all over the place. And then you go to the Cincinnati Bengals game, and not only did Joe Mixon have 87 yards for a touchdown, averaging 5.4 yards per carry, but on top of that, you gave up rushing yards to good old Joe Cool Burrow. And so that's the thing. The Niners are going to have to figure out how to stop the run. Not just take out Travis Etienne, who to me resembles CMC, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley. Those type of dual threat running backs, that's what you're going to get from Travis Etienne, who is the key piece to their offense over in Jacksonville. Travis Etienne is the reason why Jacksonville has ignited and they're figuring out ways to continue to win, right? Well, if you take Etienne out, they won't win. Why? Because now you're forcing them to become one-dimensional. The San Francisco 49ers have to limit those explosive runs. I'm talking runs over 10 yards. Lately, they've been giving them up. It just seems like the Niners front is just getting gashed. Again, they've added a key piece, right? So now they got a key piece. You're not going to be able to run to the outside because Chase Young, Nick Bosa on the edge will be able to contain it, set the edge for the linebackers to get there to finish and fill those gaps. And on the interior, I think the edge presence will make those guys run to the interior to where now there aren't multiple offensive linemen and players blocking the 49ers defensive front, and now it's going to be one-on-ones. One-on-ones, the Niners can win. Two-on-ones, the Niners struggle, and so now this will allow those linebackers to fill those holes, but they have to stop the run. Stopping the run is key, critical, and I know we say it every week, but I tell you what, if you can force Trevor Lawrence into a passing situation on every down, I'll take my chances. If Trevor Lawrence beats us throwing all game long, cool beans, good for him, but we need to figure out how to take away the run, eliminate it, stop it. And I don't just mean Travis Etienne. I'm talking Trevor Lawrence. He will give you some Joe Burrow kind of runs in this particular game if he sees a lane to where he can take off. Contain the lanes, contain the edges, fill those gaps, stop the run by any means necessary. Number 3, let's get to establishing a rhythm for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, I don't remember the last time the 49ers were in a rhythm. Here's the key to the rhythm. It's Deebo Samuel. He'll be back. Rhythm back. Let the rhythm take control. Let the rhythm move you. It's time to sweat, right? The San Francisco 49ers will be able to establish a rhythm and a balance when it comes to their offense because Brock now has that rhythmic piece in Deebo Samuel, the guy that can stretch the field, not just vertically, but horizontally, laterally, east to west, west to east, however you want to look at it. That's what Deebo Samuel does. And he forces defenses to have to defend him all over the field. Well, if the defense is running at Deebo Samuel, do you know what that means? That means they're going to get tired. That means overall, throughout that game, you're wearing that defensive front out. And they got a 3-4 front. All right. They got good outside linebackers. Josh Allen's one of the top pass rushers in the league this year. He's going to be a problem. But this is where I like our extension of the run game. I like the swing passes. I like the screen passes. I like all of that type of stuff. Let Brock come out, let him throw quick, let him get into a rhythm, run the ball, like do that. Have a key cool balance to the San Francisco 49ers offense going into this game. The Niners will find themselves rhythmically moving into the win category if they can establish a rhythm and keep the rhythm going. Do not let anything knock you off your rhythm. The rhythm is key to this game. Niners establish the rhythm. Niners will secure a victory. All right, here we go. This is a cool one for me. Number 4, it's 49ers rush. Let me break that down. All right. So I'm clearly talking from a defensive standpoint, but here's what I mean. I'm an old school guy. I like wrestling, and I like that good old saying, what a rush, right? You know what that means? That means that you play relentlessly. You play with no fear. You play fly out, all out, guns blazing, everything. The Niners got to get back to that mentality of football on defense. I feel the Niners are thinking way more than they're just going out there playing football and reacting to what they see. I think they're thinking about it. That's why I've seen so many brain farts. If you want to know what I did throughout the bye week, I went back and I watched film on every game just to see why did it change? What was different? And the difference, in my opinion, were players doing too much. Too much thinking, too much overcompensating, too many mistakes. Blah, 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 blah. In the words of Snoopy, wah, 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 wah. I know you don't want to hear it, but that's what they were doing. And then it started to make sense why I would see certain players out of position. I couldn't figure out, why is this player not there to stop a 6-yard pass where it goes for another 7 or 8 yards after the catch? It made zero sense. Look, I think the Niners are going to get back to that rush mentality where they're just out there, guns blazing, players flying over the field. There's 2 players I want to see just fly all over the field. 2 players, and specifically, and I'll just tell them to you. I want to see Dre Greenlaw back to being Dre Greenlaw. I don't want to see Talanoa Hufanga back to being Talanoa Hufanga. And if it comes down to, here's a cool kicker, right? Steve Wilks now will be on the sideline per Kyle Shanahan in this game. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but I tell you what, I do like the fact that he's willing to do whatever it takes to get back in sync with his players. Now, 49ers, if that defense is in sync, that team never loses. When the defense is in sync, the team never loses. The defense has to continue to bring the energy. They need to bring the rush back. And I'm not just talking the pass rush. I'm talking the rush in the secondary. I'm talking the rush in that middle of the field. I'm talking the rush on the front. That rush is what makes San Francisco 49ers football San Francisco 49ers football. 49ers rush. Bring that back. I guarantee the 49ers will be on their way to another victory, which saves the most boring one for last. We have to talk about it because it comes down to mistakes. Mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. The 49ers continue to get penalties every single game. Like every single game. I'm not even talking about the mistakes of the missed tackles, being out of position. I'm just talking about the ones that the NFL officials are calling when it comes to penalties. False starts. I could live with a false start. It's 5-yard penalty. But let's talk about offensive holding, especially after a play is gained. Or if Kyle Shanahan draws up this play and then there's an offensive hold, next thing you know, it's 1st and 20, 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20. These are impossible situations. Not saying that they can't overcome that adversity, but you're putting yourself in a bind when you make these simple mistakes. And that's on the offensive side. If I go to the defensive side, defensive holding, pass interference, like these plays are automatic first downs. Automatic. Never mind unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, face mask. Never mind those, right? Those can't happen. So I'm asking the coaches to make sure that their players are finding a way to not just limit the mistakes, but eliminate the mistakes. Because at this point in the season, the 49ers are in a make it or break it type of situation. They lose this game, man, it's going to be a lot to talk about. They win this game, that means that they're getting back to their ways. Doesn't matter if they win by 1, doesn't matter if they win by 2. They got to find a way to get rid of the mistakes. The mistakes are killing them. Brock, how can your quarterback find a way to get into a rhythm if all of a sudden the offensive line gets a hold? All of a sudden the tight end is down the field when he's not supposed to on a certain play. It's just little mistakes. Now, good thing about mistakes is that they can be corrected. That's the good thing about mistakes. Guys, keys to victory: run the ball, stop the run, establish a rhythm. 49ers rush, and find a way to eliminate the mistakes. The 49ers, my friends, will be back in the winning category. They will remain at the top of the NFC West, and all sails will be blazing for the San Francisco 49ers. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Keys to Victory. Once again, you guys can check it out, 49erswebzone.com. The article will be there. You be there or you be square. It's your boy Breezy. We'll see you back next week. Thanks for watching.